Welcome back to Passport Prep, your guide to smarter, safer, and more enjoyable travel. Today's episode is a little different but incredibly important, especially for those who are planning to visit regions that may be experiencing political instability or unrest. We'll be discussing how you can stay safe while traveling in these areas, providing you with crucial steps on how to assess risk, prepare for emergencies, and make smart decisions on the ground. Safety should always be a top priority, and with the right information and preparation, you can minimize risks while still exploring new places. But first, subscribe to our channel, Larry Ulrich, the spot for culture, film, and travel around the world. The first and most essential step in staying safe while traveling to regions experiencing political instability is to research your destination thoroughly before you even book your trip. Start by checking government websites for travel advisories. The U.S. Department of State, for example, regularly updates its travel advisories by country, categorizing destinations into different levels of risk, ranging from exercise normal precautions to do not travel. Similarly, other countries like Canada, the UK, and Australia provide detailed advisories that are accessible online. In addition to government sources, it's wise to check reputable news outlets for any recent developments in the region you're planning to visit. Political unrest can escalate quickly, and staying informed on current events will help you assess whether or not it's safe to go. Keep in mind that situations can change rapidly. What might be safe when you book your trip could change by the time you're scheduled to arrive. Set up alerts on your phone for breaking news in the region so you can monitor conditions up until the day of your departure. It's also a good idea to follow local news outlets and social media channels from the region itself. These platforms often provide real-time updates on what's happening on the ground, giving you a better sense of local sentiment in any protests or events that may not make it into international news coverage. Once you've gathered information, it's time to evaluate the actual risks involved. Not all political instability is created equal. For example, large-scale protests may be relatively peaceful, while in other cases, they can escalate into violence. It's important to understand the nature of the unrest. Is it localized to specific areas, or is it widespread across the country? Are foreigners typically targeted, or is the unrest focused on domestic political issues? Understanding the specifics of the situation can help you decide whether it's a risk you're willing to take. Another crucial factor is understanding how the political climate might impact essential services like transportation, healthcare, and communication. In some cases, airports might close unexpectedly, or you might find yourself unable to access reliable medical care. Additionally, internet or phone services may be disrupted during periods of unrest, making it harder to communicate with loved ones or get updates on the situation. It's also essential to assess whether the country's infrastructure and emergency response systems are equipped to handle political unrest. For example, some countries may have well-organized evacuation plans and diplomatic support in case of an emergency, while others may not be as prepared. This is where checking with your embassy or consulate comes into play. Make sure you know where the nearest embassy is located and how to contact them in case of an emergency. Many embassies also offer registration services for travelers, which allow them to send you real-time updates or instructions if conditions deteriorate. If you've decided to proceed with your trip despite the risks, preparation is key. First, make sure you've enrolled in a travel insurance plan that includes coverage for political evacuation. Some standard travel insurance policies don't cover these situations, so it's important to read the fine print and, if necessary, purchase additional coverage specifically for travel to unstable regions. This type of insurance could be a lifesaver, covering costs if you need to be evacuated or if flights are canceled due to instability. Next, make copies of all essential documents, including your passport, visas, travel insurance details, and emergency contacts. Store these in multiple locations, both digitally and physically. It's a good idea to keep one set of copies on your person and another set securely stored online in cloud storage. Should anything happen, these documents will help you navigate emergencies much more smoothly. Another practical tip is to download offline maps and essential apps before your trip. Apps like Google Maps or Maps.me allow you to download maps for offline use, which can be a critical resource if cell service or Wi-Fi is disrupted. Similarly, apps like WhatsApp and Telegram are widely used for communication in regions experiencing unrest, as they often work even when local networks are restricted. Finally, plan an emergency exit strategy and know the quickest routes to leave the area if the situation worsens. Whether it's identifying nearby border crossings, alternative airports, or safe havens like hotels or embassy locations, having an exit plan in place will give you peace of mind and could make all the difference in an emergency. Once you've arrived at your destination, situational awareness becomes your best tool. Avoid large gatherings, protests, or demonstrations, even if they appear peaceful. Protests can escalate without warning, and being a foreigner in the middle of a political demonstration could make you an unintended target. Stay in areas known to be safe, and if your destination has been flagged for unrest, stick to the areas recommended by your embassy or other reliable sources. Blending in with the local population is another key strategy for staying safe. Dress modestly and avoid wearing clothing that marks you as a tourist. This includes clothing with visible brand logos, flashy accessories, or items that display your nationality. The less attention you draw to yourself, the safer you'll be. It's also important to keep a low profile on social media. Avoid broadcasting your location or travel plans online, as this could make you a target for scammers or thieves who monitor tourists' movements. When it comes to transportation, opt for reputable, licensed taxis or ride-sharing services like Uber, which often provide more security than local public transportation in times of unrest. Always have local emergency numbers saved in your phone, and consider purchasing a local SIM card so you can maintain communication with the outside world if needed. During times of political instability, staying connected with loved ones and local authorities is essential. Make sure to check in regularly with friends or family back home, updating them on your whereabouts and any changes to your itinerary. If your government offers a Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, STEP, or equivalent, make sure you're registered so they can contact you in case of an emergency. Another great way to stay connected is through local communities of expatriates or travelers. Many cities have online forums or social media groups where travelers share real-time updates on safety, recommendations, and even evacuation plans. These communities can be incredibly helpful for staying informed and feeling less isolated in a potentially volatile situation. Traveling to regions experiencing political instability comes with risks, but with the right research, preparation, and awareness, you can mitigate those risks and still enjoy your journey. Always prioritize your safety above all else, and be prepared to change your plans if necessary. It's better to cut a trip short or delay it than to put yourself in harm's way. Thanks for tuning in to Passport Prep. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Larry Ulrich, the spot for culture, film, and travel around the world. Safe travels, and see you in the next episode.